Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Metal Cooler. You know what they say, Frieza might be Frieza, but his brother is metallic. And this guy is freaking cool in some ways for sure. There are some ways where he's a little bit less cool, and I'm not making puns anymore, I'm just using it as the colloquial phrase. I don't know how people are feeling about this. I never watch other reviewers. I never really get a vibe for figures other than what I see in my comments, so I don't know how people are reacting to this. I know when they announced him, well, we'll get into all this stuff. This guy's vacuum chrome. He looks very, very cool. There's some good stuff and some bad stuff, so let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alrighty, before we get into the review, let's take a quick look at my package. It is monochromatic. It's okay. It doesn't look as good as it could. He's metallic here. Do they normally do that? I thought it was normally white. Did they do that just for him? I could be wrong. Maybe all the PB releases are metallic. I don't think so, but I don't know. My brain doesn't work anymore. Made in China, not in Vietnam. I don't know if that matters at this point, but either way, standard packaging. I do like it. This is a little bit of a weird thing. Looks like he's petting himself. Kind of a strange thing. But anyway, it's a good package. Standard. Nothing special. Okay. Only color on the package is that right there, which does not come in the package. Okay. So there's that. And here's the figure. We'll do a height measurement, then I'll get into what I was talking about earlier. This guy stands just about 5 and let's say 5/8, give or take. That's going to make him roughly 14.5 cm. And here he is up against Derwin. There you go. All right, so what I was saying, and this will lead into the question of the day. When this guy got announced, you had two camps, give or take. One camp was, the colors are all wrong. It looks terrible. It's shiny, but it's terrible. And the other camp was, it looks great. I don't know. You could go either way. It's going from a cartoon / manga. An anime, by the way, is a cartoon. So the coloring is questionable. Is it supposed to be actual chrome? Should he be green? Should he be less green? All of that's up for debate. I'm not making a case either way, so I'm just not going to touch that as far as the review goes. What I am going to say is it generally has the right look. You can decide for yourself if you love it or hate it. Kind of like the metallic versus the flat hair versus the transparent hair for the Saiyans. You can choose for yourself what you think is best. I'm going to go with what they've done here and just judge whether or not they did it well. So question of the day, what do you think, not about the figure itself, just about the look of it, the coloring? Should it be as metallic as it is? Should it be more greenish blue? Should it be more gray? What do you think? Me personally, I think it's fine. I do think it's not going to really fit in the collection very well because everybody else is not metallic. So or not this kind of metallic. Like if he was just painted metallic, like the bands on Broly or like Frieza's dome, things like that. Is it Frieza's dome? Who's got the purple head? It's Frieza. I'm losing my mind, guys. Anyway, I think regular metallic paint might have been a good call. And they'll probably do that at some point if I had to guess. But I also think this is fine, so I'm okay with it. All right, let's get into it a little tighter, a little more in depth. It's gonna be hard as heck to film this because he's just a giant mirror. You see me waving? Hello. Every part of him is a mirror, except for the parts that aren't, but it's mostly mirror. And I'll just point out what we have. I think there are two different colors of the chrome. I can't say for sure. I know we have greenish blue here, and here, and here, but I want to say this has less of it. And maybe the legs too, but I don't know that they should. I don't remember offhand, and it's so hard to tell because he's so incredibly shiny. Like, it is gorgeous. The execution on this is superb. I did find a tiny little fleck of a blemish. You're not even going to be able to see it. I can't even find it right now. But it's so good looking. It's so good looking. Whether or not you hate it or love it, they did a damn good job with this vacuum chrome gold. It feels so nice in the hands. But by the way, I don't know how they measure friction coefficients, but this guy has virtually 0. Like, it's a 0 or negative. His feet are slick as heck, and he doesn't balance, which we'll get to. But he feels like metal, but he's plastic, and I love it. It looks so nice. Huh. these parts look a little bit less shiny than this part. So I'm thinking these parts are the greenish color and this isn't. It's hard for me to say. I don't know. But you can see it. You can decide for yourself. It's so shiny. I'm a little bit speechless because it's so incredibly shiny. That's nuts. Good job, Bandai. And then underneath we have the not so shiny parts, but still really well done, like pearly silver. And it looks so good. And then even the joints have just a hint of metallic because they're just light gray, but splendid, superb, and I love the sculpt. I think they nailed the look overall. Very nice. And then lastly, aesthetically, the face. Because it's just a traditional face, it stands out very nicely and looks good. Looks like I might have a bit of an issue in the corner of that eye. I wouldn't have noticed that without zooming in. But yeah, they seem to have just really, really nailed this. It looks great, not counting the tail. We'll save that for articulation, but I don't like the way they did the tail. 9 out of 10 though for the aesthetic, because of the tail. This is just gorgeous. I don't know how I feel personally about the chrome. I'll take it, don't hate it, but I think maybe just painting it a little bit shinier metallic would have been a good call so that it doesn't stand out so much. Could go either way. Okay, for accessories, we do have the neutral head that comes on him in the package. Then we have 3 other heads with varying stages of opening his mouth for different poses. For hands, you have the 2 fist hands and then a whole bunch of other ones, everything you would need. For his leg hands, you have the 2 standard ones for standing, then you have the 2 for floating or whatever else you want to use. That's nice. You do get his alternate arm where he's like got the tuber thingies, and then you do get his alternate shoulder to go with that as well. And that's it. I think we probably could have got a little bit more, but that'll probably do. I'll go 9 out of 10. That's a lot of parts in the box. I'll take it. Okay, nothing especially interesting, but it's good enough. Okay, let's get into the articulation. The packaging does warn you that you'll scratch it and chip it and all kinds of stuff if you're not careful, so be extra careful. I haven't had a problem yet, but we'll see by the end of the... This is going to be hard as heck to film. I hope you guys can see this okay. Man. Alright, so let's pop the head off. I'm happy. Double ball peg. Weird clippy thing to hold the head onto the ball peg. That's fine. Still a double ball peg. I'll take it. Ball peg in the neck. I'll take it. How does it actually function? I like that part. Let's see. Can he look up? Not incredibly well. I think they set the joints a little bit deep, but still, he can look down well enough. Side to side. Very nicely done. And the sculpt on the neck is good so that when he looks to the side, it actually has the musculature to kind of support that, which you won't even notice when he's not looking to the side. That's fine. But then it does work. Double ball pegs are such the way to go, with a ball peg in the neck too. Man, 3 ball pegs in an inch of space. That's exactly what you need. Works well, not perfect, but pretty nicely done. Butterfly joint in this guy is... It's not my favorite kind. It's the kind where it's just a ball socket in here and this whole piece just kind of moves around. We'll talk about the arm popping off later. This whole piece just kind of moves around, which can be helpful for posing, but it doesn't help that much in the actual butterfly department because they set theirs so far in. What I would like Bandai to do is to not be so recessed for the butterfly joint, because by the time you bring the arm forward to use it, you can't. There's still chest in the way, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but this definitely does help for your nuance posing, and it's well enough executed for that. Just don't expect him to be doing any Hulk claps or anything like that. You do get your ball peg in here and your ball hinge for the actual shoulder, and your shoulder pad is on a hinge combo to keep it out of the way. It's probably more complex than it needs to be, but it works, so maybe not. I'm not complaining. I like it. It works very nicely. You can raise the arm up, and of course you can also rotate it. Do be careful you don't bump into the wrong parts and scratch things up. I think that's just a hunk of plastic. Be careful back here. But it does, the shoulder does work nicely. The arm does pop off, I'd say too easily, because of the interchangeability, but I guess that it's not like it's falling off. And it does clip on, so I don't care as much. I'd rather it be easily swapped if they're going to include that gimmick than not. And I think it'll be fine. It might be a little bit of a nuisance, while you're posing, but it'll be okay. Double jointed elbow, not the best range we've seen, but it's decent, and it looks okay, so that's fine. And And then wrists on little ball hinges, probably less range than we're used to because there's almost none. Okay, for the torso. Let me get these arms out of the way a little bit more. So afraid to pose this guy, but so far I haven't noticed any chipping. Shoulder pads are a little bit cumbersome to maneuver, but I like them. All right, the arms are out of the way enough. For the torso, what is that? What is that? Is that the design or is that a mold thing? I think it's a mold thing. That's annoying. Not gonna see it. I wonder, do you guys have this? If you got your figure already, do you have this wart on his side? All right, so this torso piece, this crotch piece goes all the way up to the torso. And then we have the inside part where it moves. Then we have this part back here. I'm guessing he has very little range. Let's see what we have going on. This figure looks so cool. I can't help it. Every time I look down at the camera and see it, looks nice. All right, leaning back. Yeah, he bumps into his tailpiece almost immediately. Is there anything I can do about that? Nope. Nope, he can't really lean back. All right. Can he lean forward? Be very careful leaning forward that you don't just shred this front piece. I don't know how fragile their painting is. He can overlap and lean forward. Not a ton, but some. This sticks out quite a bit. He's got kind of a pouch going on there, but it leans forward okay. And then side to side. Side to side's probably the best. It's still not great. Pretty limited in the torso. Understandably, but I think maybe they could have at least broken this up. Maybe cut it down here, but it's okay. I don't really care. Could definitely be better, objectively. We'll save the tail for last. For the hips, at first I couldn't get mine to go. I was just getting this and I was not able to tuck them in, but with a little bit of force, careful force, like pulling down and tucking in, he can kick out to the side very nicely. So I'll take that. This is a slightly different design than normal. A little bit gappy right here, but hardly anything to consider a problem. So that's all right. Then going forward, not the best range, but definitely enough. It kicks forward nicely. It doesn't go out to the side too much while doing so. So I will take that. That's all right. Be very careful handling the hips. There's a lot of paint here to get messed up. Thigh swivel goes out to the side very well. And then going in, you just get a little bit, but you don't need that, so that's all right. And then going back, obviously, we have tail and everything, so very, very little range going back. For the knees, I haven't actually looked at the knees yet. Let's see. Oh, wow. Somebody was really putting some effort into this. They even got the vacuum chrome on the knee joint. I like that. This thing looks so good in camera. I hope it looks as good to you guys as it does to me. It just looks like liquid. I'm holding liquid. So yeah, they got the chrome on the knee. How the heck did they manage that? Without being die cast. That's nuts. Unless the vac metal can stick to hard plastic. I have no idea. That's cool. They did a good job. Not the best range, but definitely enough. Better than 90. I'll take it. Nice. And then for the ankles. He does have a problem like all Friezas do, basically. Like you can lean it just a little bit forward and they gave you a little bit of angle to his foot, but it's still not enough. Even with these big flat feet, balancing is a problem because of his tail. He does lean back. His feet pop off too easily, by the way, because of the interchangeability. But this ball peg isn't enough and the ball hinge isn't enough. So his feet pop off as soon as you try to lean him back. They didn't leave enough room. So that's as far back as they go, and going forward is basically none. So very, very limited. Ankle rocker, very, very limited. Ankles are too limited. That sucks. Especially since he's got this giant tail, which we can't even bend to bring forward. Big old ball hinge right here, except it's not. Look at why, freaking why. The offset peg means you cannot rotate it, and they keyed it extra just to make sure you can't rotate it. So that hinge right there, even though it looks like a ball hinge, which is gonna, I know somebody's gonna grab this and crank on it, because once you put it in, you're gonna forget. It's not a ball hinge, it's just a hinge. And it has very little range and is very ugly. Now the rest of the hinges can rotate, sort of, but you obviously only have chrome on this part of the triangular shape and then silver down here. And the hinges are obviously not the right color, they can't be. Well, maybe they can because of the knees. But his tail, it's articulated with ball hinges, but it's really ugly and very, very limited in posability. So I think this is definitely one of those figures that supports my argument that we should just get alternate tails that are not articulated. It's worth the sacrifice because this sucks. It's too heavy, it doesn't look good, and you can't pose it. There's nothing good about this other than if you're trying to list the number of POA. This is not good. And it's too heavy for him, so unless you're using it as a tripod, he can't stand for crap with these ankles and the tail. So I'm a huge proponent of having just sculpted tails. Make them one piece, make them lightweight plastic, just peg them in. They can be painted better because they're just one piece. It probably would be cheaper for them to do that, and it would sure as heck look a lot better. I mean, you're gonna have to get super creative with your photography or your posing if you want this tail to look good, and for him to actually be able to stand on a shelf without a display stand holding him up. So that's a bummer. The rest of the articulation works well enough. It's not perfect. Shoulders are nice. I don't care the way they do their butterfly as far as butterfly motion goes, but as far as gestural posing, it's very nice. Neck is good. Everything works pretty well except for the torso and the tail and the ankles. Not perfect. I'll go 8 out of 10 for articulation. It's probably what most people expected, given the character design. Okay, so now it's time for the final verdict. I personally, when this was announced, and even now, I told you this, I don't know how I feel about the chrome. I think it's going to stand out too much in an anime collection where everything is just painted or bare plastic. But it does look freaking cool, so I don't really mind as much. I would like them to do a different version. They already have the mold where they just paint it, and we'll see how that looks in the collection. But this is still gorgeous. I love the way it looks objectively. They did a great job, and subjectively, it just looks cool. So I like it. All right, and then accessories are good. Articulation's good enough. I'm going to go 9 out of 10. One of the stronger releases from Bandai in the Dragon Ball line, especially as of late. The tail blows big time. But the rest, I like and I would recommend. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but that's it from me for today. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.